And a jolly good morning to you from a very sunny Warsaw, here in the downtown area just outside the central station. I'm going to hop on a bus now and go for a little walking tour around one of the boroughs of suburbs of Warsaw. Many of you may have heard of, called Praga. Now, I've read lots of different things about this part of Warsaw. One, that it can be a bit sketchy. Two, that it's now become very gentrified, so isn't sketchy anymore. Three, it was the only part of Warsaw that wasn't destroyed during the Second World War, so it's the only part of Warsaw that is actually authentic. Now, I love Warsaw, it's a great place. Obviously it was rebuilt from the ground up, and more recently it's got some very, very modern stuff going on. You've got the rebuilt Old Town, which is not too far from here, which is very nice too. And if you look carefully, you can still see some of the Second World War rebuild of the Soviet era knocking around. So it's an interesting place. Sorry, I thought I heard my name called then, strangely. I don't think I did. So I'm going to head on down there, have a little walk around. It's a morning in spring, and so what could possibly go wrong? I'm going to start off at the Sketchy Park, Praga Park, I can't even remember the name. Anyway, I'm going to hop on a bus now, head down there, and I'll take a little walking tour around that part of Warsaw before I head on back to Central Station later on today and continue my journeys around Poland. Come and join me. Hope you enjoy the little walk. Park Praga Park is where I shall be going to. Sketchy, that's something completely different and somewhere else. It's a nice day today. I think the school children must be on holiday because there's an awful lot of them around at the moment. And just to give you an idea, say outside Central Station, downtown area, downtown station over there is the Palace of Culture, the Tourist Information Office, and that's my bus, the 160. Right, see you down in Praga. Right, so here we are at Park Praga Park, which is okay, to give you the geography of approximately where this is. If you go to the Old Town of Warsaw, which I'm sure any of you visiting here will do, and you're walking around and you look down and you see this kind of motorway and tramway running between underneath the Old Town, heading off towards the river below you. Once you cross the river, you're then in Praga, and the first stop after that is right here at the park. So that's where I've jumped off the bus. I'm going to do a circular walk around the area. I'm going to go into the park first, have a little look around, and then just take it from there. But I expect to be walking for perhaps about 3 or 4 miles, 6 or 7 kilometres over a period of about 2 hours. There's a cathedral there. I did notice that has been a place worthy of a visit. I'll have a little look over there afterwards. Also, the Warsaw Zoo is located in here. I haven't time to go walking around the zoo today. Haven't sufficient time. I've got a train to catch later on. But yeah, I don't know. Everyone's got their views on zoos. I'm sure it's a good one if you like that kind of thing. There's some information about the park. Unfortunately, that particular sign is all in Polish, but rather interestingly, they've popped some English on the other side for us all. Praga Park was established between 1865 and 1871 as a landscape establishment designed by Jan Dobrowolski in the place of former Napoleon's fortifications. Interesting stuff. So it's a big park. I've probably got time to spend about half an hour having a little look around here, so let's have a a quick look around. First thing we find is that a bear? A great big graffitied bear, presumably in recognition of the fact that there's a zoo here. Again, as with a lot of places in the world at the moment, the thought on keeping parks and gardens the best way they can is to not actually cut the grass. I'm not sure if this is a normal thing here in Poland, but certainly back in Britain they're letting the grass grow longer. There's a big sign for the zoo there, to allow, you know, insects and butterflies and birds and so on to thrive a bit better than perfectly manicured grounds and grass. I dare say it's not absolutely everywhere, but certainly the little parks I've walked around here or seen here in Warsaw have been like that. I guess if it's good for the environment, then it's a good thing. It's probably not quite so good to sit on, but hey. Very, very well covered with trees, this park already. It's not an open park, which does give it a slight feeling of you know, people could be lurking about, not wanting to worry anybody, but it doesn't have that feel at all. You know, there's plenty of people walking around with their children and dogs and so on, so it's not an open space. It's very tree lined, and as a result it is quite a warm day today actually, considering the time of year, and so it's nice to get in the shade a little bit. I'm kind of hoping there's a coffee shop and somewhere just to take a little break. I've been rushing around this morning getting prepared for onward journey on the train, so could do with those Polish donuts and a coffee would be absolutely superb. I'm not so sure I'll get the donut down here, but you never know. In my haste just to have a little quick run around this place, just noticed this through the trees. A large giraffe. Obviously not a real one, but presumably inside the zoo there are some giraffes. Or they'd be having a giraffe, wouldn't they? Ho ho. Are giraffes really that tall? Don't think so. That's a fine piece of artwork actually. Very nice. Shame a few people have decided to tag it, but never mind. Right, this seems to be where park meets zoo, and at this particular part of the park, yeah, you've got a few cafes, a few shops. And just over here, an entrance to the zoo itself. Just going to go and have a look and see what the prices are like. Zoos are quite an expensive thing in general, particularly if they're ones that do a lot for preservation of wildlife and so on. Okay, so April to September. Let's just look at the summer prices then. Normal adult price 35 zloty. Reduced, which I guess is children, students, children above 3, students under 26, and pensioners under 75 with ID cards. That's 25 zloty. That's about £5. 35 is about £7. And then they've got some various family prices there, so a family ticket, 2 adults, 2 children. That's the, I see, so they're giving that as a two. It's a bit slightly confusing. I'd have to study that based on the number of people that are with me, but anyway, let's leave it at there's family package prices, and 1 or 2 extra things you can pay for up there: guided tours and educational workshops. There's a guidebook, children's book, and a map for £1, just over $1 or €1. Yeah, it's not too bad. I think that probably fares quite well compared to the prices at London Zoo. But without going in this particular one, to have a little look around and see. Fortunately, I haven't got the time today. It certainly looks quite big, just looking down there through the gates. Anyway, so there we go. That's Warsaw Zoo. Seems to be a little queue building up of people. The park carries on way over in that direction. And I'm not going to walk back through the park. I'm going to take this road up here, though. I've gone in a little circle, more or less back to where I started the walk a few minutes ago. There's a lot of people walking down here. Presume they've been dropped off by a coach up the top there to come down here to go into the zoo. Hope you have a nice day. Some pictures of what the zoo used to look like a long time ago. Yeah. Back in the days before health and safety. Right, onwards. Looks like there is a bus that actually calls here, the number 100. Probably not a particularly frequent service. The tourist line, the 100 bus. Oh yeah, it's just at the weekends, and oh yeah, it's not a particularly frequent one, but if it suits you to get a bus right to the entrance to the zoo, then you can look that one up. So, 1 or 2 factoids. The zoo was originally opened in 1871, so it's been about a bit. And somewhere in the park over there is a bandstand, which apparently quite often has music playing in it. I very much doubt that's going to be happening, as this is a Monday morning, but come along at the weekend and there might well be something. Slightly sketchy entrances to the park, I have to say. Presumably that's one. But yeah, and another Warsaw hack for you. I wouldn't necessarily condone this, but it says if you want to have a look at the lions, then they can be seen through the fence somewhere near the tram stop. No idea where the tram stop is, other than I was at the tram stop back there, so I'm not sure if they mean that tram stop or a different one, but you can have a peep through the fence if you don't want to fork out the 35 slotty 2 head in there. There's another entrance to the park. I don't know, I'm a bit of mixed feelings about this letting the grass grow long. It just looks like, to me, it looks like it's unkempt really, and not looked after at all. Although I do understand the reasoning behind it, so I don't know. What do you think? Now, I think this would probably look pretty impressive if it was operational. A waterfall and watering moat presumably there. I can see all the pipes that come out of it up near the top, and water would cascade all over this. It's a shame that that's broken down, non-operational or being repaired. But I'm sure that looks really great when it's going. I wonder when it last operated. Right, back to pretty much where I got off the bus now. It's a bus and tram stop, and there is the cathedral. Just going to take a wander over there now before I continue the walk onwards into this district. Well, certainly a very impressive building. I just took a quick look inside. There's quite a few people in there praying and sitting quietly, so I didn't want to disturb them. So I didn't, just had a little look. And certainly very, very impressive. If you like cathedrals and buildings such as that, then this would definitely be one to come and have a look around. My initial thoughts of this part of Warsaw as it is really quite pleasant. I like the cobbled streets. There's a mixture of old buildings, pre-war, post-war, and some quite modern stuff. So, like everywhere else, it's an ongoing development. I've certainly not come across any areas yet that look particularly rough or anything like that. Maybe times have changed. Maybe like a lot of parts of London are like that used to be very rough at one time and probably not wise to wander around at night, but now it's totally changed. The feeling here may well be similar. And just coming to the end of this little road that runs off the main road down the side of the cathedral. Going to a bit of a courtyard, a bit of a drinker's corner. By the looks of things, this is the Praga Courtyard Orchestra Monument, which looks very interesting. Well, that's nice. Right, just reading a little write-up about this. Apparently the orchestra will play for you if you text a message on which song you would like playing. There's apparently some instructions here, but I can't see them just now. If I can find the instructions, I will text it and play a random tune. If there's no video of that in the next 10 seconds, then I couldn't find the instructions. So you'll have gathered by now there was no instructions on how to play the music. I couldn't see any speakers there actually. If there were any at one time, they've either been taken away or they're very well hidden. But that would be an interesting thing to do. I've not seen anything like that before. You can text a request of 100 different tunes. Courtyard orchestras were apparently a big thing here. Anyway, couldn't do that unfortunately. I had a quick Google online, but it just came up in Polish, and I've not really the time to try and work out the translations just now. Anyway, heading off towards the Praga Museum of Warsaw now. Just have a little look about, see what that's all about. Maybe have a little look inside if that's possible. Coming up to a very busy road now. Yeah, it seems to have come out in a much more hustle-bustle part of Praga. It's the usual array of convenience stores and shops in general along here. I'm feeling that's on my my itinerary. Possibly have a little look in there later. I'm going to go and walk up as far as the museum now, just to see what's that's all about. And there we go, the museum, the Praga Museum of Warsaw. And well, of course, this is a Monday, so it's a good job I'm not really desperate to go in there, but it's not actually open on a Monday. But if you come here on a Thursday, it's free admission. I'm presuming there is a charge to come on all the other days it's open, which is essentially from 9 till 5 and 10 till 6 at the weekends, but not on a Monday. So if you wish to come here, try and come on a Thursday and you won't have to pay anything to get in. Okay, onwards we go. And yeah, that market is on my list of places. I thought I recognised the name. Breska Street and Rosickiego Bazaar. I'll only say it once today, but I do apologise for my absolutely appalling Polish pronunciation, but that's what I was trying to say. It's got its own website as well, by the looks of things, so let's go and have a little look. Well, it's not a food market, it's essentially a clothes for everything from underwear up to wedding dresses I've seen so far, and shoes and material to make your own. Some of the stores are open, some are not. Yeah. It calls itself a bazaar. There you go. Interesting looking weapons there that you can buy. Not sure we'd get through customs with those if I wanted to take them back to Britain. I get the feeling if you knew the right people in here, you could probably get something a little bit more than just a pair of socks. If you get my drift. Someone's burning incense just along here, very nice. That was interesting enough. It's perhaps some of these little stores are open. More of them are open at the weekend, maybe. Seems to be a fair few. Sort of down this end, it's more or less more like a car boot sale rather than a market. Certainly some history down here, that's for sure. Just reading the little guide that I've been using to put together this walking tour, and it does suggest you don't go wandering around here at night time. It's hard to say. I mean, you know, every place is different during the day than it is at night, and different at the weekends as it is during the week. So this is a pretty tame time of the week or day, in as much as it's a Monday morning. This reminds me of London. You get a lot of little pop-up bar areas down side streets in London these days. Although this one doesn't look like it's a pop-up bar, it looks like it's kind of here all the time. But yeah, probably get my gist. There's a few of them near London Bridge Station that come and go. This is probably quite lively at night along here. Now we're on Żabkowska Street. There seems to be trams around along here, but they've long since... the tram lines are still there in parts, but certainly not. There's no trams come down here for a while. Chapkowska Street, so it's one of the oldest and most well-known streets in all of Warsaw. Place that's got a lot of cafes, bars and restaurants. Student area, popular with the hipsters, whatever they, if they still exist, and also home to the Polish Vodka Museum. Look back down the street, down that way. As I came out of the market, which was just the bazaar, just down there on the left, the buildings seem to be still quite old, with balconies from the 18th and 19th century. Up this end, you've got a lot of newer, quite high-end apartments, maybe students' accommodation. So it's a bit of a mixture of buildings down here. I can see it could get quite interesting at night time along here. I think I'll probably pick the right time of day to come. It's a good tour. It's a good job. I'm not on the on a museum tour today, because I don't think museums open at all by the looks of things in Warsaw on a Monday. Again, this one, the Museum of Printing. If that's your thing, don't come on a Monday, and come on a Thursday again, because it looks like it's free. And I also noticed that the Vodka Museum isn't open today either, so there you go. Welcome to the Not a Museum tour of Praga. See a lot of these places around the world these days. What's the term? Reimagined, reworked, old factories. Here is no exception. I can't quite understand the message, but the sign, but I have a feeling this may well have been a vodka factory at some point in time. I could have got that completely wrong, but it looks like it's a series of very high-end apartments, cafes and bars and restaurants. Very reminiscent of what you might see in the East End of London. And as the Vodka Museum's quite close to here, I'm beginning to think that possibly vodka was made here at some point. There's the Magic Mind Museum over there as well. I wonder if that's open today. I think I'll probably know the answer to that already. This was probably a very run-down area and place full of factories at one time. And now it's there's some pictures of what it used to be like. Oh. Central London. It's yeah, not open on a Monday. I can work that out. And there's the Vodka Museum is definitely in a former factory. and I would suspect that vodka was what was manufactured there. Another factory there that just has whiskey and champagne on the side of it. I suspect whiskey and champagne wasn't manufactured there. Maybe that's the preferred tipple of the Poles these days, rather than vodka. It's a very nice area to walk around though. Looks like it's not been here all that long. This is not what I was expecting Praga to be like, I have to say. I'm sort of disappointed and pleased all at the same time, if that makes sense. I was expecting it to be a kind of slightly edgy part of town, and coming on a Monday morning it wouldn't have been too dodgy to wander around. But it's not that at all. I mean, I'm sure it's got its areas the same as everywhere else. That you'd be best not wandering around at night, but certainly down here looks to be a place where you could quite happily come at any time of the day or night and have a civilised meal or a drink and spend some money in some quite high-end shops as well. Sushi bars, I mean, you know, come on, when there's a sushi bar, you know. Polish Vodka Museum. Well, there you go, guys. Again, I'm not sure if this one's free on a Thursday, but it's not open on a Monday, I can tell you that much. Can even have a great big game of chess if you wish. One thing worth noting here, if you're interested in street art, and I mean proper street art, not just nonsense tagging and that kind of thing, there is quite a bit of it about. I'll take a few photos when I come across some more, but if you Google Praga street art, you will come across a couple of websites that will show you where they are, the street name, the streets they're on, and so on. So you can come down and specifically have a look at those if that's your thing. This is a work in progress shopping mall, and there are drills and things going. Nothing much is open, one or two places are. Most are still being constructed, and there's a strong smell of mastic and paint and so on. Let's check out the loos, see if they're operational. It's certainly a nice calm area of really high-end apartments there. And I suppose you could describe it as an up and coming area. This development here certainly suggests that's the case. Okay, onwards with this little walk. Another hour left of my time here in Warsaw, so I'm just going to crack on quite quickly now, because I wouldn't want to miss the train. Long distance trains here all require a reservation, so if you miss the one you're supposed to be on, it's a bit of a nuisance getting a reservation on another one. You can't really do it online, not that I've found a way of doing it online anyway. You always have to queue up at the ticket office for a change of reservation, which can be quite a lengthy process. So if you book a seat on a train here, try and make that train if you possibly can, would be my advice. Okay, let's see, where are we going now? All this letting your grass grow long business that seems to be going on everywhere in the world is surely putting guys out of work. They go around cutting all this grass and keeping it looking all trimmed and nice. Now, just following Google Maps now, and it's sending me a slightly strange way towards the railway line there, and around the back of this these apartments to some garages, so I'll be interested to see where this leads. There's clearly a train depot just down here, so I'm not quite sure. I seem to be needing to get to the other side of it, so... Or is that a station? Might be a train station, so I probably can walk through it to the other side. That's possibly where they're sending me here. Interesting. Yeah, I'm not so sure I'd want to be wandering around here late at night. Interesting to know what was actually here before these high-end apartments were built. Were they not such high-end apartments that have been knocked down, or was it off? Was it just wasteland, or maybe maybe factories, that kind of thing? Yeah, so that's Warsaw Poland station, just over here, and I need to be on the other side of those railway lines for the next recommended thing to go and look at, which is why I've been kind of sent down here, I think, so I can walk through the middle of the railway station and out the other side. Well, it is sometimes interesting the routes that Google Maps send you on. But if you're a bit of a train spotter, then this would be a good one for you. So I'm just going to be crossing the railway line. I thought it looked on the map as though you'd be going through the actual station itself. This is strange. There seems to be an entrance to the station here. Oh, I see. So, right. So there's just a little crossing here to get you onto one of the platforms. Oh no, I see. You can walk all the way across. Right. So with great care indeed. Welcome to Warsaw Wileńska station. Where you can just walk across the railway lines. Right, that's safely completed. I'll have a look at my map now, see where it is I'm actually heading. Well, the old adage or saying, which side of the rail tracks do you come from, possibly applies here. It's got definitely a different vibe and feel to it than over the other side there. That seemed a lot newer and a lot more being developed, I should say. Here, not so much so. Got more of the older buildings with really nice balconies as well. Look at all those up there. Nova Praga, it's saying we're in now, which I'm presuming means New Praga. But funnily enough, it seems older than over the other side there, which I presume was old Praga. I'm a bit of a hapless wanderer. I don't do too much homework and so on with these things. Just have a little rough idea about what I'm doing with a few places to pop into Google Maps or any other app that is suitable for the job, and see where I end up. That's when it's walking. If it's a public transport adventure, it's a different matter. You could roll a dice to decide which bus you're going to get on, or put a pin in a map, or maybe just use some random terms in Google. Now look at this old building up here with those balconies. These balconies are still safe to stand on. I presume they are, otherwise they would take them down. That building there. They're great though, right in the corner. I walk down the centre of the street here because it's pretty quiet. I just get an idea of these old buildings here. They're fantastic, they really are. This is sort of more of what I was kind of expecting. Buildings like this and some slightly not great looking tenement buildings. I've not really seen the sketchy tenement buildings. I'd imagine this is quite a sought after area, I would have thought. It's certainly got character, that's for sure. As I said, there's quite a bit of street art about. The stuff that's at ground level is not quite so good, and is often, as it is in most places, blighted by people coming along tagging it and stuff like that afterwards. And then you come to this. Which is really rather impressive. Well, the final historical landmark that was recommended is the House of the Mermaid, which is what you can see on the screen in front of you. It's temporarily closed, and not just on a Monday, but hopefully one day it'll be open so you can go and have a little look in. Okay, so this more or less concludes my little walk around Praga. I'm just going to spend the next 30 minutes following my own nose just to see what I see. I shall add bits and pieces in as I see them. Inizio Gallery, looks like a jail, doesn't it, or former prison or something. I shall add on anything else I find at the end. Despite the fact it looks a little bit like a prison, or a former prison, it wasn't. It just says a complex of warehouses where furniture and household equipment was stored. Yeah. If you're walking around this part of Warsaw and you are interested in street art, then remember to keep looking upwards, not only at the architecture here and the balconies and so on, but also the street art that appears here and there. I'm not a big fan of street art per se, but it is quite impressive. And as I say, if you're particularly interested in that in itself, then there are a couple of websites that will lead you in the right direction, give you the addresses so you can follow them. And that, in English at least, is the Orthodox Church of St Mary Magdalene. So I'm just going to take a little wander around there, and before I conclude this walk. So it's a Russian Orthodox church built on the site of a cathedral, a destroyed cathedral, built by the Russians to signify Russian dominance. So I'm not too sure how the Polish people, who are predominantly Catholic, feel about that. I'm just going to have a little walk around to the main gate. There's a few people standing there, see if I can just kind of wander in. I'm not really sure if it's open to the public today or not. Everything else seems not to be, so presumably I can only look from the outside. In fact, I would say possibly not. I've come around this side and there's renovation works going on. Looks like there may be a christening or wedding happening, so I won't disturb their family event. Well, they seem to be just wandering in, so I think maybe I will. Once you get out to the centre of Warsaw, there's not quite so many signs posted in English or any other language for that matter other than Polish. Yeah, seems to be having a bit of renovation work, but I will go inside and just have a brief look. Well, I have to say that's got a very, very impressive interior. Absolutely incredible. Now we're at the end of this walk now, right at Wilenska railway station. It also has got bus and tram stops and also the metro, so it's very well appointed for getting you back into the centre of Warsaw, if indeed that's your next stop. Okay, so Praga, obviously it's been a fairly quick wander around. I've certainly not got completely under the skin of the place, and I suspect that some of the rumours about it being a little edgy are true in part, and probably that will be at night time. But I've come, as I say, on a Monday morning. If you want to come down here and feel completely safe, which I have done, come during the daytime, have a look at some of these sites that I've shown you. There's plenty more too. Obviously, if you don't come on a Monday, if you come any other day of the week, then those museums will also be open. So I hope you've enjoyed this walk. I'm going to go to the shopping mall over the way there and find something extremely calorific to have for my lunch before I head back to the centre of Warsaw to grab a train in around about 2 hours time. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, click the like button. If you want to see some more videos, I've got some random public transport trips around Warsaw and various other places. Walks in the UK, walks in other cities and places around the world. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, then please subscribe. Thanks for watching. That's all from me from Warsaw for now. Cheers. See you again. Bye now.